Hi all and welcome back to the channel. This is HD's dad and this is another Raid Shadow Legends video. I'm just on here doing some of the daily quests and wanted to update you guys on some progress finally made in the game. I'm working towards the end game on the main account and took another step in that direction by eliminating another one of the faction wars crypts, that being the Night Revenants. I was able to um, meticulously, as had to be the case, work my way through that. And I did create a video of my second run through, the first time I did it on my phone. And so obviously, or not obviously, but I wasn't able to capture that. So I ran through it again, actually got a reasonably faster time. So I wanted to walk you through that. So let's skip over here to the movie player and the recording. Um, we can come back after the fact and kind of take a look at the team that I used to do it, but you see it here with Sinesha in the lead with their hit points, or with their HP boost, which um, helps Eric's being an HP based champion. It helps everybody just generally to be a little more tanky, which initially was super concerning, but towards the end you see that it wasn't really that much of a concern. But I just kind of left the composition the same. But anyway, you got Sinesha there in the lead. You got Eric's, which is daily login fragment champ. Um, is that Sepulchre Sentinel there? I still have her built for my clan boss team, so didn't change her build at all. Then I've got the reviver that was part of that recent, I think it was the Bambus fusion, if I'm not mistaken, and then Doom Priest. Uh, so let's just kind of step into this, and what I do want to show you is the first two waves were absolutely full auto, not even targeting anyone. This did not start out being the case, but as the team got stronger, added a little bit more crowd control, and all of those sorts of things, was able to get these first two waves. Which the second wave contains, three Valkyries and um, the guy who makes you unkillable. Can't think of his name right at the moment, but you can see that we work our way through this relatively quickly. Um, I'm going to boost this up to 2x for a second, kind of speed through this wave. And again, just letting them do their thing. I don't have any AI set for any of them. They're just doing whatever the game wants them to do. All right, I'm going to slow this back down a little bit to 1.5. And you can see here, same deal. Um, not targeting anybody. This does take a little bit longer. You got the unkillable, and you've got the counterattack, and you've got the shields, which are super annoying, and then you got Errol, whacking you pretty good from time to time. But as you will see, they do go ahead and handle this. Malkith, that's the new reviver guy. I thought that the strength of him in this team was going to be his reviving ability, but as you'll see, um, we don't ever use it. But what is nice on his A1 is that he steals a buff from whichever opponent that he attacks, or he at least has a chance to steal a buff, and he's pretty successful at it. He's got a reasonable amount of accuracy, so um, as you can see at this point, none of the opponents actually have any buffs up, so we're able to get some damage in here. Now, of course, one Valkyrie down, starts going, quite a bit faster. And just about got it taken care of here for wave two. What you will notice, and a little bit of a spoiler alert, is this team, even after I made significant changes to it, um, really has no damage. And that ends up being the issue here and why it took me so long. I've been able to get past those first two waves relatively easily, um, at least with manualing it for a while. Um, but it's when you get to the boss that there are some tricky mechanics that you absolutely have to deal with, and there's no way around it. The first being this 3-turn buff steal. So you don't want to load up your team with buffs. Like right now, he's got that available to him in my team because I didn't turn off auto quickly enough. Is going to have a bunch of buffs for him to steal on it, which is where Malkeith comes in really handy because she's able to pick off, one of those buffs each time, potentially each time she uses her A1. And then, or is it a he? I don't remember. Maybe it is a he. And uh, is it Tomb Priest or is it anyway? One of the other champions on the team also has an ability that decreases the duration of buffs on enemies by 1 turn. So both of those two things in combination make it nice so that when the boss does steal your buffs, we can steal them back or reduce their duration. So it ends up not being too big of a problem. But the bigger problem is, well, there's some fears in his kit too, or in the boss's kit too. That's not super helpful. Um, if you wait for this buff steal to go off, you'll see I do put up block debuffs from time to time, which prevents those which prevents those fears from being landed on the team for the most part. But the biggest problem yet is the swap health. As you'll see in this run, as we walk through it, uh, I actually have to fight the boss's health down 3 times. Um, the first time is inevitable because I just don't have, I guess if you had block active skills, I don't even know if you can land block active skills on him, but if you can, I'll look at that too. Um, that might be an option, but it's not in this team. And so the only real way to go about it is to sort of time your buffs on your team. I have increased attack on this team. I unfortunately do not have a drop defense on this team, which would have been really useful. But you have to time the increased attack, um, and then you have 12 of the boss turns to basically um, drop him, or or they do a swap health back to full health, and then you kind of repeat that cycle until you're able to knock it down. Um, I think I was relatively close the first time he swapped health. So basically the second time through his health bar, and then finally on the third pass was able to knock him out. The kind of philosophy on this is to drop the side ads kind of as quickly. They're just more of an annoyance than anything else. But drop the side ads, get them out of there so you can concentrate on the boss. I'm not even trying to kill him because he's got the swap health right now. So I basically just get rid of these guys. I'll crank this back up a little bit, speed to, might as well go with 2, and I'll just use the pause button. when we get to the point where the side ads are gone. And this run isn't the cleanest either. I do make mistakes where like um, I have the increase attack available and then I don't use it at the right time. Things like that. Potentially, if I had done that, I don't know. I haven't gone back and looked at it super close, but potentially, if I had been perfect on that, maybe I would have gotten him the second time through his health bar. Um, but anyway, that didn't happen. And you can see here, it's a lot of A1s and then timely other abilities. I will tell you that I struggled on this mightily. I had Eric set up in sort of a defense with fearsome presence because he's in a stun set, so I wanted that extra 5%. I had to switch him over to um, War Master. I also um, didn't have Sinesha's masteries completed. As a matter of fact, they're still not, but I do have her on tier 6 with War Master. Um, and then I, I'm pretty sure I also did the same thing with Doom Priest. I guess we could, watch her attacks and see. Yeah, it looks like she's got War Master as well. Again, I didn't want to change Spulker Sentinel because I still use her in Clan Boss. And then Malkith can't obviously have a tier 6 mastery because he is um, rank 5. Um, so there were still a number of things that I could have done had I not made it through this. Now I will not be using my resources to do those things because I don't really care if I ever do this again. Once was enough. Getting the legendary book was a nice little bonus to all that. But you can see, essentially, this is just whittle them down, whittle them down, whittle them down. You can see, this is when this says 3, that's the time you want to use your buffs, right? Which you see I did right there with the block debuffs and the increased defense and the increased attack. Um, that way, most of those buffs will expire by the time he's back at the ability to steal them from you again. Okay, so he just did his swap health. You can see that went back to 12 there. So you at this point have 12 boss turns to to basically kill him. Kind of move forward in the fight here. So he's clearly done his second health swap here, and this is the time we're going to get him run down. So kind of let this play through. I know it's not super exciting, but you at least get to see the process. The first time I did this, my clock was something like 47 minutes because I had to stop and do things in real IRL um, while I was trying to do this as well. But you see, the only tricky part here was kind of keeping an eye on it, and then obviously Doom Priest is healing us, um, and and also Sinesha has the big heal when we get in trouble should we need it. But the idea is sort of not to use those unless we have to because that just takes away from an attack. And as I said, this team has absolutely no damage. I mean, and obviously it's a void boss, so you're not going to get, you know, strong hits. So a couple minutes left here. I mean, but essentially that's the gist of it. Um, just repeating those A1s, dropping the duration of the. Actually, let's go back. Oh, wait, back. Oh, so it is Malekith who has both of those. Okay, so he has the drop duration and the steal. So all right, that's where I was confused earlier. Fair enough. Let's watch the end here. Kind of see the coup de grace. The other nice thing about Sinesh is once he's below 50%, the A1 hits twice. So a little bit of bonus damage there. And that is pretty much that. Let's go actually. Let's see, 2253. I believe if I took Malkeith to 60, got War Master on him as well, that this could be a full auto run. Probably like, it's probably somewhere between 12 and 15 minutes would be my guess on full auto. But right now, again, to maximize that damage, you have to not do the heals and the buffing of the team that the AI would normally do when they become available. Now, of course, um, you could set up the built-in AI to do that as well. I didn't do any of that, but as you can see, 2253. Um, Now I'm at 63 out of 63 stars on Knights Revenant. I kind of stopped worrying about that faction pretty much. Um, I might, I still have some interest in. I like Malekith as an interesting new champion with the revives and all that. Obviously, I have a little more respect for him now, also with um, the buff strip on the buff steal on the A1 and the decreased duration on the A2. So really good champ overall in terms of kind of controlling the opposition. It's not traditional crowd control. It's not a stun or a sleep or anything like that, but stealing their buffs away um, and decreasing their durations super valuable in this fight, certainly. All right, well that's kind of it for that. Let's switch back over here to um, the game, see how we're doing. We got those silver keys used. All right, so let's go take a look at the champions. I don't know if you guys watch Jay Giggs and his comment, but yeah, I'm like him in that I don't like a bunch of red dots all over the place, so it kind of drives me crazy. Um, go here, go to recently used. They should still be near the top, I would think, or not. Oh, here we go. All right, so Eric's obviously, um, I've got him in a stun set. Um, I've got him on. I had him slightly higher um, in defense, but I actually wanted to increase his accuracy to try and get more stuns out of the A2. But I mean, it doesn't really matter because I don't have him booked anyway, and I don't really want to. You know, legendary books are probably for me the rarest commodity in the game. So I try to use most of my legendaries with as few books as possible. They're still very powerful champs for the most part without them. Um, I mean, I do have, you know, quite a number that are fully booked, but I mean, again, I pick and choose, right? You can see that kind of Slicks isn't. Excuse me. Um, and then obviously Newt is, and Ninja. So I've got quite a few that are, but again, even like Sun Wukong, not booked. I just don't have them, and definitely would like to have him booked. But let's see how many books we have. We have 3 red books, so I do save my books also for CBC. Um, they're worth a substantial amount of points, so why not? Anyway, Back to this. Here's Eric's in a stun set um, with two pieces of protection gear. Um, Stats are, I mean, decent. Fair amount of accuracy. Um, a lot of hit points. He's an HP based champion. Um, Obviously, crit rate with 126. It's not super high, but no crit rate at all. Again, wasn't what I was going for here. Just was trying to get some crowd control, um, or maybe a little bit of damage if I can. Masteries. Again, I did have him on Fearsome Presence, um, but completely redid that and took him down to War Master. You know, Life Drinker to keep him, get some of that health back. Um, but really, it's all about the War Master. And then moving on to Sepulchre Sentinel. She was already on War Master again. I still do use her in my um, Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss team, and she is built for that specifically. Why do I keep doing that? And then Doom Priest. I had to completely rebuild my Doom Priest. I hadn't geared her in a long while. Um, I did put her on a bolster set. You can see it's none of her gear is, I mean, with the exception of this weird one that's at 13. It's all at 12. Bolster set I love for the healing, extra healing, even though she's a healing beast anyway with the passive. But extra bolster healing for the team. Shield to start out the rounds. It just, for me, it works for survivability for what we were trying to get done here. I had her previously on, not Fearsome Presence, on, was it this? Yeah, Unshakable. She was kind of built in somewhat of a high resistance build, although the gear that was on her was crap, so it wasn't really doing a whole lot that way. Again, I changed her to Life Drinker with War Master and kept the defense. Again, all sort of sustainability stuff, right? And then Sinesha, as I mentioned, um, she was right here, um, and so I just went ahead and got the 350 scrolls. Got War Master on her, so she could help out a little bit with damage. She is booked. Um, Sepulchre Sentinel is booked as well, by the way. Doom Priest is booked. Um, Most of my epics are. Quite a few of my legendaries aren't. Um, Malkith, um, again, I came into using him on the team thinking it was going to be all about the A3, the revival, but really it totally ended up being about the A1 and the A2. The ability, again, to strip that random buff, um, especially off those Valkyries and off that boss when you stole them, and then 75% chance, which actually books up to 100% chance of decreasing the duration of all enemy buffs by one turn, and increasing the duration of all ally buffs by one turn. Super, super powerful, super helpful on this team. Um, these masteries weren't really doing a whole heck of a lot of anything for me. Um, Ultimately, if it had come down to it, uh, he would have gotten a 6-star, and he would have gotten War Master as well. Just again, like I said, anything that I could do to increase their damage, because what I'm going to show you is um, in the way of Knight's Revenant. I honestly do not have a whole ton to choose from that I've actually put any resources into. Um, you can see I've got a few. I've got Bistifus, but again, no books in him. He does have true fear and block active skills, but I'll be honest with you, I have not been impressed with using him. Now, granted, he's level 50 and um, he doesn't have his books and he's light on his masteries, but he was not very helpful to me as I tried to use him early on. I was trying to use Golden Reaper. Again, kind of, you can see I've even stolen gear off of him. I mean, it looks like that's a her. Okay. Um, and then again, it just kind of goes down from there, right? I do have Renegades. Well, I mean, at one point I was even trying to use Thurgist, right? You know, on the surface, with the block buffs and with the increased attack and defense, which are the small versions, but they're still, I mean, there's something. But ultimately, none of that was working. So we sort of ended up where we were, and I, continued to put resources into that group, and ultimately that got us where we needed to be. So there you go. Those those well, I also have Skull Crown, and I did try and use her as well, but it was, again, there wasn't enough crowd control, super squishy, um, and it just didn't work. So the team was Eric's Sepulchre Sentinel, Doom Priest, Sinesha, and Malkuth Bloodblock. All right, well, I think I've gone over that about as completely as anyone would want to hear. But if you have any questions, leave a comment, like, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content. My son's been putting out a lot of Mortal Kombat 1 content that you seem to be enjoying. But like I said, if you're enjoying what we're doing, go ahead and give us a like, subscribe. We certainly would appreciate it. And with that, I hope everyone has a good night, and I'll talk to you soon.